All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to talk about a really powerful and honestly, a pretty strange paradox that sits right at the heart of what it means to be a great leader. It's an idea that completely flips the script on everything we're usually taught about how to get ahead in life.
So let me ask you this, straight up. What if the real secret to getting more success, more respect, more fulfillment in your life isn't about taking at all? What if it's actually about giving? I know it sounds totally backwards, but that's the core idea we're going to unpack together today.
And there it is. We're calling it the leadership paradox. Society is constantly telling us that success is all about what you get. More money, a bigger title, more stuff. But this paradox, it suggests that real leadership and real success isn't measured by what you manage to acquire for yourself, but by what you choose to contribute to others. Okay, so to really wrap your head around this, we've got to talk about a huge fundamental shift in our thinking. It's about moving away from this old, kind of outdated way of seeing the world and stepping into a completely new one. What's so cool here is how clearly this lays everything out. See, the old way of doing things, the old economy, was all driven by scarcity, this idea that there's only a limited amount of pie to go around. So your main action was to take as much as you could. It's all driven by fear. But the world we live in now, the new economy, it's built on a totally different principle: generosity. The action is to give. The driver is trust. And here's the wild part. The goal is that the person who gives the most, well, they're the one who ultimately wins. Okay, so that all sounds pretty good in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you apply this in the real world? Well, let's get into it and see how this idea is built on three core pillars that really put this paradox into practice. First up, pillar number one, and this one is a biggie. I mean, this is a real game changer. It's about having a total obsession with creating and delivering incredible value. We call it the 10x value obsession. And listen, this is not just some clever business tactic. It's a deep, personal promise to deliver overwhelming value in absolutely everything you do. This one question captures the entire mindset. You got to ask yourself this over and over until it becomes second nature. How can I give 10 times the value? Because when you truly, genuinely operate from that place of wanting to serve, people feel it. It's authentic. It builds a kind of trust and loyalty that you just can't get by only focusing on the bottom line. All right, let's move on to our second pillar. This one takes a really common business idea and just flips it completely upside down. We live in a world that is just flooded with overpromising and under-delivering. I mean, think about it, right? The ads, the marketing, everything promises this amazing world-class experience. But how often does the reality actually fall short? This pillar says, do the exact opposite. So here's the key takeaway. Underpromise what you're going to do, and then just absolutely blow people away with your execution, whether it's for your clients, your team, or even in your personal life. When you consistently deliver way more than people expect, you build this legendary reputation. You become what we call a merchant of wow. And that brings us to our third and final pillar. Now, this one isn't really a strategy. It's more of a fundamental choice you have to make. Every single day. Seriously, every day, in every single interaction, you get to choose. Are you a giver or a taker? See, takers are operating from fear. That's scarcity mindset again. They feel like they need to get as much as they can before it's all gone. Givers, though, they operate from a totally different place, a place of service and generosity. And here's where you see the paradox in full force. When you shift your own internal state to one of genuinely wanting to help, to serve, to give your best stuff away, you ironically end up getting so much more in return. The promotions, the success, the deep sense of fulfillment, it all flows from that one simple, conscious choice to be a giver. Now, I can almost hear what some of you might be thinking right now, because there's a common objection that always comes up when we talk about being a giver. And you know what? It's a really important one we need to tackle head on. It's this exact question. Wait a minute. If I'm always giving, won't people just take advantage of me? Won't I get walked all over? It's a completely fair question, and it highlights why generosity has to be paired with something else that's absolutely crucial. Let's be crystal clear about this. Being a giver is not about being weak. In fact, true, sustainable generosity requires enormous strength. It's the strength to be kind, but also to set very clear boundaries. It means you have to teach people how to treat you. It's about having enough self-worth to give from a place of abundance, not from a need to be liked. You can be the most generous person in the room and still be firm in asking for what you want and what you deserve. They aren't opposites, they're a powerful combination. So, as we start to bring this all together, this leads us to a much, much bigger idea. It's about completely redefining what success and what power actually mean in our lives. Society is always pushing us to chase what's on the left side of this screen: external power, status, money, mansions, jets, all the visible signs of success. It's a game of what can I get? But the bigger game, the one that leads to real, lasting happiness, is the one on the right, the pursuit of internal power. This is about who you become. It's about your humanity, your bravery, your creativity. It's a game of what can I give? And this isn't just some nice feel-good idea. So many titans of industry get to the top of that mountain of external power, only to discover that they feel empty. They realize they were actually happier when they had less, but were more focused on their purpose. Building your character, your internal power, that's the bigger game. That's the one with the rewards that actually last. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. What if, at the end of the day, your legacy wasn't defined by all the things you gained for yourself? What if it was defined by what you gave away? What if the true measure of your life was the value you created for other people?